You don't actually want a better comeback. You want that moment, the subtle shift in the room, when the other person slows down, their voice drops half a tone, and something inside the argument collapses. Not because you defeated them, not because you embarrassed them, but because you didn't move. Think about your last argument. Notice how quickly it escalated, how your body leaned forward, how your voice changed without permission, how you started explaining more than you needed to. Notice how often you explain yourself long after the other person stopped listening. That is the hook. And most people never notice when it happens. They think they are defending themselves. In reality, they are reacting on someone else's terms. Here is the shift. The most powerful response in conflict is not the sharpest sentence. It is the moment you refuse to enter the emotional current at all. In the next minutes, you'll learn 5 responses that don't overpower, don't humiliate, and don't dominate. They quietly dissolve the dynamic. And one of them, especially the third, will show you exactly who in your life depends on your reactions in order to feel stable. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Don't mirror the storm. Conflict rarely begins with disagreement. It begins with activation. A sharper tone, an interruption that lands slightly too early, a look that signals impatience. Your nervous system reacts instantly. Your jaw tightens, your breathing shortens, your thoughts accelerate. Before you even speak, your body has already chosen a side. If you answer from that state, you are not choosing your words. You are discharging tension. The first response interrupts that pattern. I'm not going to match that energy. Say it calmly, not cold, not sarcastic, almost observational. Imagine Evan in a meeting. His voice rises as he presses his point, leaning forward, speaking faster. Across from him, Mina feels the pull, the urge to counter, to defend, to raise her own tone. Instead, she inhales slowly and says, I'm not going to match that energy. Something subtle happens. Her breathing slows. Her shoulders drop. The room recalibrates. That's the Zen principle of non-resistance, remaining steady without adding force to what is already unstable. You are not resisting the person, you are refusing synchronization with agitation. Here is the uncomfortable truth. When someone escalates, they are often trying to regulate themselves through dominance. If you mirror them, you stabilize them. If you remain steady, they must stabilize alone. That creates space. But loud energy is obvious. The more dangerous form of destabilization is quiet, and it often hides behind a smile. Chapter 2. Expose the intention. Not all aggression shouts. Some of it smiles. Sarcasm, polite condescension, backhanded compliments framed as just being honest. Daniel excels at this. He rarely raises his voice. Instead, he inserts small remarks that reposition him slightly above everyone else. When Mina shares an idea, he says lightly, "That's ambitious." The room laughs softly. This is the moment most people lose, because the attack is undeniable. Mina does not defend herself. She pauses, she meets his eyes, and she asks, "Are you trying to understand me, or trying to win?" The air shifts. Because the conversation is no longer about her idea, it's about his intention. That is the Zen principle of right seeing, looking beyond the surface of words to the intention beneath them. Zen does not argue the surface, it examines what drives it. Daniel shrugs. "Relax, I'm joking." Mina replies gently, "Then help me understand the joke." No edge, no accusation. Clarity destabilizes those who depend on ambiguity. And here's what most people never realize. When you don't rush to defend yourself, you signal that your identity is not fragile. But clarity alone is not always enough. Some people rely on momentum, not subtlety. And when exposed, they escalate. Chapter 3. Define the conditions. Some conversations are structured around interruption. You begin speaking, they override you. You try again, they correct you mid-sentence. It feels like conversation, but it's actually control. Your instinct may be to compete for space. Don't follow that instinct. Instead, say, "I'll continue when this is respectful." Not louder, not sharper, steady. Imagine Evan interrupting Mina repeatedly during a discussion. Each time she starts explaining, he jumps in, reframing her point. She lets him finish. Then she says calmly, "I'll continue when this is respectful." And she stops speaking. No elaboration. That is the Zen principle of right speech. Choosing words that reduce harm rather than amplify it. Speech that restores balance instead of intensifying friction. Here is what most people don't see. When you say this, some people will feel irritated because they were relying on speed and pressure, and when pressure fails, control fails. If he interrupts again, she repeats the same sentence, exactly the same. Repetition without escalation is psychologically disarming. But what if he doubles down? What if the pressure increases? This is where most people break. Have you ever left a conversation, replaying it for hours, thinking of what you should have said? If you cannot hold this moment, your boundaries will slowly become suggestions. Chapter 4. Detach from the outcome. Walking away feels like losing. Most people would rather stay in a toxic argument than risk being seen as weak. Your ego will tell you that. It will whisper, "Say one more thing. Clarify your point. Don't let them think they won." That whisper is attachment. The response? "I'm stepping out of this." Nothing more. Mina feels the pull in her chest, the urge to justify one last time. She doesn't. She gathers her notes. She leaves the room. This is the Zen principle of non-attachment to outcome, releasing the need to control how things are resolved or perceived. You are not responsible for being fully understood. You are responsible for remaining intact. And here is something difficult to accept. The person who panics when you disengage was depending on your emotional participation. When you remove that participation, their leverage dissolves. Notice the silence that follows an exit. It is heavier than any argument. But confrontation is not always loud. Sometimes pressure is gentle, and gentle pressure can erode you slowly. Chapter 5. Hold the line. Not all insistence is aggressive. Sometimes it comes from someone who cares, or believes they do. A parent who questions your choices repeatedly. A colleague who revisits the same advice. A friend who cannot accept your no. Over time, repetition creates doubt. You begin explaining more than necessary. You begin defending decisions already made. You begin negotiating your own boundary. That is erosion. Instead, say, "I hear you. My answer stays the same." Warm in the first half, final in the second. Daniel tries again later, suggesting Mina reconsider a decision she has thought through carefully. He presents reasons, he reframes them, he waits for hesitation. She listens fully. She doesn't rush. She doesn't defend. Then she says, "I hear you. My answer stays the same." no debate. This is the Zen principle of one mind, remaining inwardly steady even when external pressure tries to divide you. Undivided. When your position does not fluctuate under pressure, repetition loses power. And here's the pattern across all 5 responses. None of them attack. None of them humiliate. None of them attempt dominance. They withdraw fuel. Arguments survive on reaction. When reaction disappears, the structure collapses. The goal was never to silence someone. The goal was to remain unmoved, because the person who cannot be provoked cannot be steered, and the person who cannot be steered does not need to control the room. They simply remain steady. And the mountain does not silence the storm. It simply refuses to become one.